So from here, we're gonna lift our heel on our right leg, okay, and then push yourself up onto the balls of your feet and then drop one heel down. So we're just taking a little trot through our legs, trying to wake up our balance. Okay, and just find that little bit of rhythm here, just walking through one leg and the other. Try and keep your knees going over your toes. Okay, and we'll do one more each side. Okay, and roll your shoulders back and down. Okay, from here we're going to take our attention to our pelvis. So I want you to bring your hands front and back of your pelvis, and then we're just going to do little pelvic tucks here. So I want you to just scoop your tailbone in underneath and then dip it up towards the ceiling. Okay, so scooping in and lifting. So it might even help you to think about the skin above your pubic bone pulling up towards your nose or your navel. And we're just trying to get a little bit more mobility into our pelvis here. Okay, so I want you to find that midpoint in between those two. And then what I want you to bring your attention to is your middle. So I want you to imagine that you've got a tight pair of jeans on, okay, and you're just trying to zip them up, okay. I don't know if you've tried on any jeans lately, but they do take a little bit of persuasion. So we're just zipping up our jeans and making sure that we've got that good core connection in our center. Okay, from here, with our core connection, I just want you to tuck your ribs into the front of your jeans so they're not flaring out. You just want them to tuck in to the sides. Okay, and then from here, we're gonna breathe into the sides of our ribs. So take a deep breath in, feel your hands moving apart, and as you breathe out, your hands are coming together. Okay, we're going to take 2 more breaths like that, and then bring your hands down by your side. Okay, from here, I want you to bring your fingertips to the sides of your thighs. Okay, and send the crown of your head towards the ceiling. From here, I want you to slide your right fingertips towards your knee. And then bring yourself all the way back up again. Okay, so, and then we're going to do that on the other side. So I want you to think every time you go into the middle, you're trying to get a little bit taller. So try not to collapse into the side that you're reaching down on. You just want to kind of lift up and over. Okay, and we're going to make this a little bit more dynamic. So from here, I want you to lift your right hand up towards the ceiling and lift over. Hand goes back down by your side and lift up and over. So we're still feeling our fingertips going towards our knees, but we're just trying to lift up and get a little bit more space in between our ribs each time we move. Okay, and bring your hands down by your side. From here, I want you to imagine that you're holding on to a big beach ball, okay? Imagine that your hips are in cement, so they're always going to be going forward, okay? And then from here, twisting from your lowest rib, I want you to turn over to your right side and then back to the middle and over to the other side. So with this movement, it's going to feel almost as if your hips are moving in the opposite direction to the way that your upper torso is moving. Okay, and you just want to make sure that your hips are always shining forward. So we want this movement to come from our kind of mid-back and not from your hips. Okay, bring it back to the middle, and then from here you're just going to lift up and over and bring yourself back down. From here we're going to roll down towards the floor a little bit And then restack your spine, lifting up towards the ceiling, bending back just a little bit, and then rolling down. Okay, each time you roll down, I want you to get a little bit further towards the floor. And lift up and down. And lifting up, following the pattern of your breath here, we're just going to roll down on the exhale. And then I want you to let your head and your hands hang heavy in this kind of position. My hamstrings are really tight, so I have to bend my knees just a little bit. Okay, but I want you to hang out here and just find that kind of length here. Okay, from here, I want you to bring your hands to the floor and then straighten your legs and bend them. Okay, so you might have your fingertips on the floor, you might have your full palm on the floor, but we're just trying to get a little bit more length into our hamstrings. Okay, from here, I want you to bring your hands to the floor, bend your knees as much as you need to, and then step back into a long lunge on one side. Okay, from here, we're going to twist open and bring your hand back down to the floor. Okay, so we're just trying to wake up our body in every direction. Okay, last one. Bring your hands back down to the floor, step your feet wide, and then step the other foot in. Okay, from here, we're going to step that other leg back into that long lunge again. Hands are on the inside of your legs, and we're just going to twist towards our knee again. And the last one. Okay, stepping our feet back in. Okay, find that kind of low squat position, and then bring yourself up into a forward fold. So we're going to go down into a little squat and then lift up. Making sure that your back is nice and flat once you lift up. We're going to bring our hands to the floor again and then lift nice and straight. Down and lift. Down. You can round your back as much as you want when you're in that squat position, but as you come up, try and get a little bit of length from the crown of the head to the tailbone. Okay, last one. Okay, and slowly roll yourself all the way up. Give everything a little shake out. And then we're going to bring ourselves slowly down to the mat. Okay. So the first move that we're going to do today is called a roll-up. But we're going to start in sitting. So I want you to find your sit bones directly underneath your bum. So if you kind of move around and find those little bony bits underneath your bum. Okay, so you want to pull on the back of your legs to bring yourself up as tall as you can, okay? So you want to have your nice straight back here. Okay, from here, you're just going to rock off your sit bones and bring your tailbone to the floor. Curl your tailbone in underneath you and find that little C curve in your back. From here, we're going to pull on the back of our legs and bring ourselves all the way up into tall sitting. Okay, so we're going to find our breath here. So I want you to go back on an exhale. Inhale whenever you're back in that position, and exhale, bring yourself back up. Exhale, release. Pause, inhale, exhale, bring yourself back up. Okay, if you want to go a little bit faster here, find your inhale, bring yourself back. Exhale, bring yourself back up again. Okay. Okay, if you want to progress a little bit more, bring your hands out. Try to bring yourself down to the mat as far as you can and then bring yourself back up. So this movement is all coming from your core. So think about your tight jeans being zipped up. And move with your breath because it will help you. Okay, and as you come back up to sitting, I want you to get as tall as you can, sending the crown of your head towards the ceiling. Okay, from here, we're going to rock back off our sit bones and bring ourselves all the way down onto our mat. Right, let your legs go as straight as they can, okay? And then what I want you to do is curl your toes up towards your nose, sending all your energy through your heels here. Okay, so we're gonna open out our arms and then bring them up towards the ceiling. So we're just gonna do a big circle on the floor and then bring them back up. What I want you to concentrate on here is keeping your ribs down. So if you're finding that you're getting to about here and your ribs are starting to stick up to make this happen, I want you to bring your arms in a little bit smaller circles. Okay, so don't let anything compromise to make this circle happen. Okay, from here, we're going to bring our hands out, and then I want you to push on the floor and bring yourself up into sitting. Okay, so that's one way that we can do this, and then we're going to roll back down to the floor. So circle the arms out, push into the floor and bring yourself up. Okay, and then roll back down. Keep sending your energy through your heels. If you want a little bit of a further challenge, you can take pushing into the floor out. So it's going to look like this. You're going to roll down, circle the arms, and bring yourself up with no assistance. Okay, and then slowly roll down. If this really doesn't suit you, you can go back to rocking off your sit bones and bringing yourself back up. Okay, so this is a big movement for the core. And I want you to start playing with it. So see if you can point your toes and bring yourself down, flex the feet and bring yourself back up. Okay, or if you want, you can flex the feet to go down and point the toes to come back up. See which one works for you. Remember, you can always push into the floor to make this movement happen. That's it. Make sure that you're not hoiking up through your body. Just give yourself as much permission to modify as you need to. Okay? So, on our next one, we're going to bring ourselves down onto the floor and just bring yourself into a full body stretch. So your toes are setting away from your fingertips. Forgot which one I said first there. Right, so toes away from the fingertips and just let everything hang out. You don't have to feel any control here. You can let your core connection go. Okay, from here, bring your hands in to your side, and then I want you to step one foot in at a time. Okay, so we're going to set ourselves up for 100. So 100 has a couple of different variations, but we're going to layer on different variations till we build up to the main one, okay? So level 1 of the 100, you're just going to put your hands down by your side, okay? And I want you to feel that there's a little bit of a gap in between your low back and the floor, okay? Imagine that you can put your hand in underneath there. Okay, if there was a little grape underneath your low back, I would want you to just squish it into the floor. Okay, so completely flatten your low back towards the floor here and then lift your low back up and away. So we're just doing our little pelvic tilts that we did whenever we were standing, but this time I really want you to think about getting more space in between the floor and your low back and then really completely flattening that low back to the floor. Find the midway point in between these two, and you can even bring your hands to your pubic bone and your hip bones to find out if your pelvis is level. So once you find that level pelvis, I want you to bring your hands down by your side. Okay, think about your jeans zipping up, so your belly button is going in towards the mat. Okay, and then I want you to tuck your chin just a little bit, so you're giving yourself a slight double chin here. And then from here, without moving anything, I want you to think about what you would need to do to lift your right leg off the floor. Take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, float that right leg up into tabletop. Make sure that nothing has changed in your pelvis. Okay, your shin should be parallel with the floor. Okay, and we're just going to hold it here for 5 breaths. And whenever you're ready, you can float that leg back down to the floor. And then I want you to think about what you would need to change in your center to float that left leg up to tabletop. So from here, we're going to lift that leg up and just hold. Hold it here for 5 breaths, making sure that you've got that good connection. And I just want you to check in with your belly. Make sure that you're not using your big abdominal muscles to press in and your belly hasn't domed up. So take your hand, put it on your low belly, and just see if you've still got that kind of scooped belly or if it's rounded up towards your hand. Okay, from here you can float that leg down to the floor. Okay, if it's for you, we're going to go into a double tabletop position. But before we do any movement, I really want you to think about what you would need to do to lift that right leg. So we're going to lift the right leg on our next exhale. And then from here, press your low back into the floor to protect your low back. And then we're going to lift that second leg up. Find your neutral spine again. Okay. And then from here, you can lift your head, neck and shoulders off the floor. So we're just going to do a little bit of a prep for our full 100. So I want you to extend your fingertips long along the floor, okay, and just hover them slightly off the mat. Okay, keeping your head, neck and shoulders here. Okay, if this is too much at any time, just let your head, neck and shoulders go back down. Okay. Make sure that you haven't started to dome in your belly. And we're just going to hold it. And keep breathing. From here, you can let your head back down to the floor. Release one leg and then the other. Okay. So, we're going to add on to that. We're not going to do the full version of the 100 today, but we're going to do a variation of it. So, I want you to lift one leg up into tabletop and just hold. Think about what you need to switch on in your core to send that second leg up to meet it. So we're just going to send our second leg up on that next exhale. Inhale and exhale, head, neck and shoulders lift off the floor. Fingertips extend long. Back of your arms are lifted off the floor, and then from here, I want you to press your hands up and down. Keep breathing. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep going. If you need to send your head, neck and shoulders or your legs down to the floor at any time, do. Keep breathing. Keep trying to curl up just another vertebrae. And release your head, neck and shoulders down to the floor. Release one leg and then the other. Okay. So you might have worked out where the name 100 comes from there. If not, you just beat your hands for a count of 100. So bring your thigh in towards your chest and just give a little hug here. Bring the other leg down, and then we're going to bring that knee in up the chest on the other side. Okay, so from here I want you to bring yourself over onto your side. If you have a little towel, you can fold it up and put it in between your ear and your bicep. Otherwise, we're just going to send our arm long. Okay, line yourself up with the back of your mat. And then from here, I want you to curl your toes towards your nose and make sure that you can see them. Okay? And make sure that your focus is forward. Okay? And from here, I want you to roll yourself forward onto your thigh just a little bit so you can feel your weight kind of distributed over your bottom thigh. Okay. From here, imagine that you've got a little hook underneath your top hip and send that top hip away from your ribs. Okay. So this will open up a little bit of space in underneath your waist. So just check that you've got that nice little space there. So from here, we're going to extend one leg long. Okay, think about your core connection here. You can either have your hand on the floor in front of you or on your thigh. Okay, so we're just going to hold it there for a moment and then bring it back down. Okay, so make sure that you've got that good core connection. Your top leg is a little bit longer than your bottom, and we're just going to lift that top leg up again. From here, I want you to really dig deep into your core and lift that bottom leg up to meet the top. Lower the bottom, lower the top. Lift the bottom, lift the top. Lower, lower, lift, lift. Lower, lower, lift, lift. That's it, keep going. So this is a really big challenge for your balance. Okay, and then from here, I want you to lift both legs up and just hold them. From here, you can either have your hand on your thigh or on the floor in front of you. And then I want you to kick forward 2 inches in front of your leg and then bring it back. Try and bring your leg in behind the leg that's staying stationary. So bottom leg is staying nice and still, top leg is moving forward and back. So a little bit of kick forward and back. So follow the pattern of your breath here. You want to breathe out, bring your leg forward, breathe in to bring it back, or whichever pattern of breath works for you. Okay, let's do 2 more. And hold. If at any time you need to rest that bottom leg down, do. But if you want, you can stay with me with the 2 legs up. So from here, we're going to do a passe. So I want you to bring your toe onto your thigh, and then we're going to extend that leg up and then bring the heels together. So we go lift, open, close. If you need to put your bottom leg down for this one, you can. So we're just doing nice ballet legs here. Make sure that you haven't collapsed into your bottom rib here. Woo, this is tough. Okay, so we're doing a passe, that one, and bring it together. Passe, that one, and bring it together. Okay, last one. And then you can bring your leg in front of your bottom leg and just tap your booty out if you need to. Okay, from here, we're gonna roll over onto our belly. Okay. So from here, I want you to extend the back of your neck longer than the front. Okay. Let's see if you can see me. All right. So you're gonna have your hands in the I surrender position. Okay, and your nose is just gonna be floating off the floor. Okay, I'm gonna demonstrate this first so you can see me properly. So you wanna send your tailbone away from the crown of your head, and then from here, you're just lifting your head, neck, and shoulders off the floor. Okay, so this movement is kind of coming from your chest, but your lowest rib is going to stay on the floor. You can press into your forearms as much as you want here to lift yourself up. But I want you to imagine that you've got a little ice cube underneath your belly button, and you're trying to lift your belly button up and away from the floor. So don't let your neck lift. You want to keep your neck as long as you can. I want this movement to come from your chest. So you're going to stay here and then lift up and away from the floor. Like that. Okay? So it's almost as if this movement's coming from your low back. I'm just going to have a wee look at everybody. Looks really good. Well done, Chloe, Helen. Looking good. Well done, Hannah, Brita, Joan. Everybody's getting it. Well done. Right, so we're going to progress just a little bit. And what I want you to do is, with your forearms, bring them up and away from the floor, and then try and lift your chest off the floor without using your hands. So this movement is coming more from your upper back. So I want you to try and squeeze your shoulder blades together and find that little bit of lift from there. Keep breathing. Okay, and then last one, we're going to bring our hands directly underneath our shoulders and push yourself up into all fours. Bring your toes together and your knees wide, and we're just going to sit back into a little child's pose. Or you can bring yourself onto your forearms, bring your back nice and neutral, and just send your chest to the floor for a puppy pose instead. Just see whatever works for you and your body today. Okay, from here, we're going to bring ourselves up. And we're going to do our side line on the other side. Okay, so bring yourself nice and long. Okay, if you've got a towel, you can roll it up and put it in between your bicep and your ear. But otherwise, we're going to line ourselves up with the back of our mat. Bring your toes towards your nose, make sure that you can see them in your peripheral vision, and then point them away. From here, I want you to bring a hand to your hip and send that top hip away. A little bit of space in underneath your rib here. Okay. And then from here, we're just going to lift our top leg and hold. Think about that core connection, your belly button lifting up and away from the zip of your jeans. Think about that top leg getting longer than the bottom. Okay, from here, if it's for you, we're going to lift that bottom leg up to meet the top leg. Lower the bottom, lower the top. Lift the top, lift the bottom. So keep going. Well done. Okay, here, keeping the top and bottom leg up, you're just going to kick forward with that top leg and then bring it back. Kick forward and bring it back. And try and get your heel in behind your bottom leg if you can. Okay, we're going to do 2 more kicks. And then bring the bottom leg and top leg together. From here, bring your big toe on the inseam of your leg and bring the leg towards the ceiling and lower down. So we bring it in, up, lower, lower, in, up, lower, in, up, and lower, in, up, and lower. That's it, let's do 2 more. Don't let yourself rock forward and back. Okay, and then from here we're going to bring our leg in front of the other and just give it a little tap out. Okay. So from here we're going to roll forward onto our side. And yeah? That's okay. Pandemonium at Jones. That's okay. Alright, so we're going to bring ourselves up into all fours. Your hands are going to be directly underneath your shoulders. Okay, and then from here, I want you to curl your back toes in underneath you. Okay, from here, I want you to lift your belly button up and away from the floor. And then we're going to press into the floor and just hover your knees off the floor and then bring them back down. Okay, I want you to land as softly as you can on the floor. So you're just touching your knees down to the floor and bring them back up. Okay, let's do 2 more like that. And then I want you to hold this hover. Okay, from here, we're going to step out and out into a tall plank. Curl your pubic bone up towards your nose and we're just going to hold. From here, I want you to step it back into that hovered position and hold. And step it back out, hold. And back in. Last one, take it out. Hold. Back in. And release your knees back down to the floor. Okay, take yourself up off your wrists and you can roll it out. Okay. Roll your shoulders out. Okay, from here, we're going to go back into our all fours position. Make sure your hands are directly underneath your shoulders. Knees are directly underneath your hips. We're going to curl our back toes in underneath. And then from here, I want you to step one leg out and then the other. So we're taking ourselves straight into that plank. Okay, and then from here, what I want you to do is just lift your right leg up, point it away, and then bring it back down to the floor. Bring the left leg up and bring it back down. Make sure your hips are nice and low and they're not rocking side to side. So you're just pointing your toe away and then bringing it back to the floor. Okay, last one each side. And bring your knees back in and just give your wrists a little bit of a shake out. Yeah, how are you getting on with that? Anybody dying yet? Good. Okay, so we're gonna bring ourselves into one last plank and we're gonna go between a downward facing dog and a plank. So what I want you to do here, step one leg out and then the other. Okay, from here, we're gonna pike our hips up towards the ceiling
Okay, so really bring your shoulders away from your ears. Try and bring your heels towards the floor. And then travel forward into a plank. Bring your hips up. And travel forward. We've got 2 more here. Hips go up. And travel forward. And up. And forward. Okay. Bring yourself back down on the floor. And roll your wrists up. Okay. Well done. So we're going to bring ourselves back down onto the floor here. And actually we're going to sit up for this next one. So what I want you to do is take yourself right to the very edge of your mat. Bring your knees in as close as you can and round your back till it's a little bit of a C curve like we did before. Okay, I want you to look in at your belly button and bring your belly button in towards your back. Okay, from here I want you to lift your feet off the floor and then just hold this position. From here we're going to rock back onto your back and then bring yourself back up into that seated position. Okay, so bring yourself down and up. So this is just rolling like a ball. Whew. A free little massage for your back. So only go as far as your shoulders here. Okay, last one. Okay. From here, I want you to sit into a kind of frog position. So bring the soles of your feet together. Okay, I want you to reach through your legs and grab onto your ankles. Okay, create that C curve again and bring yourself up into a little pose here where you're sitting on your sit bones. Okay, so your feet are hovered off the floor, and then from here we're going to bring ourselves back and then roll up. Okay, see if you can hold that balance and clap your feet together 3 times and then roll back and bring yourself back up. I'm still working on trying to get the clap at the very end. Okay, last one. Okay, and release your legs. Bring yourself down onto the mat and just take yourself into a full body stretch here. Okay, from here, we're gonna fold one leg in and then the other. Okay. So feet are just going back down onto the floor. Hands are going by your side. And then just like we did in the 100, I want you to squish a little grip underneath your low back and then release it. And we're gonna squish it down and release. So this next movement is all about getting more space in between your vertebrae of your back. Okay, so it's not about lifting your hips up as high as you can, okay? It's just kind of going through each vertebrae and lifting them up like a string of pearls off the floor. So what we're going to do is push our low back into the floor, bring your pubic bone up towards your nose, and then gently lift one vertebrae at a time up into the shoulder bridge position. I don't want you to travel any higher than your shoulders or where your sports bra starts. And then we're going to go back down, rolling back down, and till our tailbone comes back down to the floor. So we're going to do that again, but this time we're going to break it down a little bit more. So I want you to push your low back into the floor, bring your pubic bone up towards your nose, and then I want you to pause. See if you can bring your pubic bone up a little bit more towards your nose. And a little bit more. Your tailbone will naturally lift, but I want you to really focus on getting more space in between each vertebrae as you do. And then from here, we're gonna gently lower each vertebrae down to the floor. But this time I want you to curl your pubic bone up towards your nose a little bit more, finding more space in your low back as it travels back down to the floor. So find your own pace with this. Try and lift each vertebrae one at a time. And then bring yourself back down to the floor. And last one, bringing yourself up. Right. Okay, so we're going to go into a little bit of a cool down here. So bring your hips back down to the floor. And then bring one leg up towards the ceiling, holding in behind your thigh. And bring that leg back down to the floor, and then we're going to do the other side. Okay, so roll over onto your side, bring yourself up into a seated position. From here, we're going to cross our legs, and I want you to pull on your knees to bring yourself up nice and tall. From here, bring your hand in behind your back and cross your hand to the opposite knee and turn. Release it, and hand goes down to the floor and over to the other side. And we're just going to flow in between those two. Okay, and from here, I'm going to turn to the side for this one. We're going to curl our back down and then pull on your knees to bring yourself up tall. And curl down and bring yourself up tall. Let's do two more. Okay. And you're just going to take a deep inhale and exhale, and we're all done. Okay,